Alright, guys, I have a interesting little bit of information here that I came across this morning, and that is the quote from France's President Hollande. And it kind of verifies what we were talking about recently as to what's behind the madness, what's their rationale as to their reaction to the recent Paris attacks. Why would they continue to leave their borders open and then say we're going to destroy ISIS, we're carrying out war against terrorism, we're going to smash terrorism? Well, apparently it's to preserve their policy of open immigration. So it says here in the headline, French president wants to eradicate terrorism to preserve immigration. They say here there was a curious phrase in the speech that Hollande gave to French Parliament on Monday. It was at the very end, as he was building to what was clearly intended to be a rousing conclusion. There's the French, and then here's the source here. We will eradicate terrorism because the French want to continue to live together without fearing anything from those who are like them. We will eradicate terrorism because we are attached to freedom and to raising France's profile around the world. We will eradicate terrorism so that the movement of people and the mixing of cultures can continue, and so that human civilization is enriched by it. And of course, at the end, not really much of anything here. We will eradicate terrorism so that France can continue to lead the way. Will lead the way in what? Raise France's profile around the world. For what? What profile? They're talking about mixing. And that's what Sarkozy was talking about, right? So there's obviously some kind of ideology that is cooperating with each other, people that are in power that are promoting race mixing and white countries only. It says here it's a good illustration of the pro-immigration mania that grips our ruling class. Immigration is the supreme good. Everything else is subordinate to it. I pointed out before that it was the votes of the immigrants that determined the outcome of the Scottish independence referendum in favor preserving the United Kingdom. Yet the SNP, the party that exists to campaign for independence, has remained resolutely silent about this. He says it's because immigration matters basically more than what they stand for, the party's existence and immigration. That he says here, the pro-immigration socialists in France now want to eradicate terrorism, not to preserve the lives of French people, but so that they can continue to subject them to slow-motion genocide by repopulating their country with hostile aliens. So yes, in a way, it is a conspiracy. People are conspiring to carry out genocide, but these are being done by French leaders, by German leaders, and people are voting them into power. I think this ideology, they really do believe it. I think they really do believe it in their hearts that they're doing the right thing. Unfortunately, I think that they've been duped by another group of people that will basically be able to profit from this, take advantage of this. And that's, according to what Barbara Lerner Specter said, is Jews, that they'll be resented for their role in forcing multiculturalism and changing Europe, so that's no longer full of Europeans. And that's why you have, like the article that we covered yesterday right here, do not close doors to refugees in wake of Paris attacks, says the chief rabbi. And then in the United States, we have Jewish organization ADL saying, basically bashing Republican governors who said no to these Syrian refugees. There's like 20 of them. So, and as we all know, part of this group mentality, as far as the morality of it, the rules, is that immigration is the supreme good. That's the best thing that you can do. Being anti-immigrant is the worst thing you can do. It's immoral, it's a sin, and you will be shunned. You will lose your job for making a Facebook, post or whatever, hate crimes, hate speech, ostracized basically from the group. And that's why there are organizations such as the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center, basically Jewish organizations to regulate the goy, basically non-Jews, and steer them in a direction the way they want them to go. Basically corralled or steered like cattle towards their own destruction, basically. The path of suicidal altruism. But we all know that Jews, whether they're liberals or on the right, conservative Jews like Netanyahu in Israel, and nationalists, they both identify as Jews first and foremost. So if you are a conservative in the United States and you support any of these representatives who say they support Israel first, no matter what, then you should probably question that, because it means that they support Jews over your own people, over your own country. So this white genocide thing, it could be part of eliminating a threat to Jewish power, Jewish supremacy. It could also be part of building the greater Israel project, like we just covered recently. Maybe the masses of people moving into Europe, or to basically displace them and get them out of this area to create a nice haven for the greater Israel. Guess I'll just finish up with this, and then I'll post the clip that most of you guys have seen about Sarkozy, but I figure I'd just throw it in there at the end. In a somewhat cryptic remark in an interview hosted by the American Enterprise Institute, or AEI, on Tuesday, Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, raised the imaginary possibility of the establishment of 2 or 3 more Israels throughout the Middle East and North Africa, which he said would be located in or near the present-day Libya, Afghanistan, and Yemen. There's a little map there. And lastly, a comment from the Count Kalergi's Practical Idealism, founder of the Pan-European movement, who laid the ideological groundwork for the European Union, saying the man of the future will be a mongrel. Today's races and classes will disappear owing to the disappearing of space, time, and prejudice. The Eurasian Negroid race of the future, similar in its outward appearance to the ancient Egyptians, will replace the diversity of peoples with a diversity of individuals. Christianity, ethically prepared by the Jewish essays John, spiritually prepared by the Jewish Alexandrians Philo, was regenerated Jewry. Insofar as Europe is Christian, it is in a spiritual sense Jewish. Insofar as Europe is moral, it is Jewish.
Quel est l'objectif? Ça va faire parler, mais l'objectif, c'est relever le défi du métissage. Défi du métissage que nous adresse le XXIe siècle. Ce n'est pas un choix, c'est une obligation, c'est un impératif. On ne peut pas faire autrement, au risque de nous trouver confrontés à des problèmes considérables. Nous devons changer, alors nous allons changer. On va changer partout en même temps, dans l'entreprise, dans les administrations, à l'éducation, dans les partis politiques. Et on va se mettre des obligations de résultat. Si ce volontarisme républicain ne fonctionnait pas, il faudra alors que la République passe à des méthodes plus contraignantes encore.
Alors, mes chers amis d'Arabie Saoudite, il ne s'agit pas de chercher à imposer un modèle unique de civilisation. Ce serait répéter une fois de plus l'erreur tragique qui, dans le passé, a provoqué tant de malheurs. Ce serait nier les identités. Ce serait susciter non la paix et la fraternité, mais la violence. Car rien n'est plus dangereux qu'une identité blessée, qu'une identité humiliée. Une identité humiliée, c'est une identité radicaliste.
C'est relever le défi du métissage. Défi du métissage que nous adresse le XXIe siècle. Le défi du métissage, la France l'a toujours connu. Et en relevant le défi du métissage, la France est fidèle à son histoire.